This is the BenQ EL2870U, a 4K 28-inch computer monitor currently being sold on Amazon for $434. Now when BenQ asked if I wanted to review this, I was a bit puzzled, because the BenQ I know pumps out very good budget computer monitors, and if you look at the price tag of the 2870U, it costs more than most brand name 4K displays on the market. And the thing is, this monitor has a lot of very good reviews. No one is really complaining about the steep price tag, so I had to see what makes this thing worth over $400. Now, part of the price could be attributed to the fact that BenQ is heavily advertising this as a gaming monitor, because whenever you put the word gaming into a product name, you can automatically increase the price by at least 20%. Despite the edgy gaming marketing, just by looking at it, you would never be able to tell that the 2870U was intended for gaming. And that's great in my opinion. The BenQ logo is modestly sized, nowhere on the monitor does it say gaming, and it's free of any RGB accent lighting. It just looks professional. For I/O, we have two full-sized HDMI 2.0 ports, a single version 1.4 display port, and a headphone jack. The monitor does have two built-in 2-watt speakers, and sound quality from those is actually pretty good. The audio comes out nice and clear, however they are not very loud, so I would still recommend using headphones or dedicated speakers. A stand for the monitor is included, however it is pretty limited as it only gives you the ability to tilt the monitor forwards or backwards. For this price range, I expected the stand to be a little more functional, and I know some people find that silly, but a high-quality stand that is height adjustable and rotates is really a godsend. If you don't want to use the stand, it does have VESA mounting points on the back. The panel itself is a 60Hz LED backlit TN display. Since this is a TN display, your viewing angles are going to be limited. If you view the monitor horizontally, it isn't going to be too big of a deal as the horizontal viewing angles are actually pretty good. Now, if you want to use this monitor in a vertical configuration, then forget about it. Vertical viewing angles are terrible, which isn't a huge surprise given this is a TN panel after all. I set this monitor up in a vertical configuration for coding, and I just couldn't use it like that. Every time I moved my head, the colors would change and the image would shift a little bit, and it just made me nauseous. So if you're looking for a monitor to use in a vertical configuration, then definitely consider looking elsewhere. Overall, this panel produces a really nice picture, and I was surprised at how much of a difference the 1 millisecond response time made. My daily driver monitor is a Dell P2715Q, which has a 9 millisecond response time, and playing games on the BenQ monitor was a much better experience when it came to the perception of movement. While moving around a game map using the BenQ monitor, the image remained much sharper than it did with my Dell display. That being said, the colors on the BenQ monitor definitely don't appear as lifelike as they do on my 2715Q. The BenQ monitor has a handful of picture presets you can access through the monitor's menu, and switching it to the gaming mode did help, but it still was not up to par with my editing screen. The simulated HDR mode is a gimmick, it just makes everything look washed out. And I should mention that the monitor's 300 nit brightness does not meet HDR10 specs. The monitor is capable of adjusting its brightness based upon the brightness of its surrounding environment, hence the little chin at the bottom of the bezel that houses the sensor for that. I tried out the brightness intelligence feature, and personally, it's not my cup of tea. I found it annoying how the monitor's brightness kept changing depending on which lights I had on in the room, which means it actually was working as intended, it's just not for me. And thankfully, you can disable it with the touch of a button. AMD Freesync is supported by this monitor. Unfortunately, I was not able to test that because we only have NVIDIA cards in-house. Though I do think this is a good monitor, I'm still having a hard time understanding what makes this display coming from a company known for its budget gear worth over $400. There are other 4K monitors on the market with 1 millisecond response times and AMD Freesync that are selling for much less than this BenQ monitor is. This goes onto the list of monitors I would recommend, but it's definitely further down that list. It has a really nice feature set, the screen's picture is incredibly sharp, color production is good but not accurate enough for professional work like picture or video editing. The intelligent brightness works really well if you're into that kind of thing. The emulated HDR is kind of just a gimmick, and the price is definitely on the high side. That's going to be about it for this video. There are two more things I would like to mention before I call it quits here. The first of which is that the monitor does come with one 5-foot HDMI cable and a power cable as well. The second thing I would like to mention is that the price of the monitor has fallen since I started making this video. Yesterday it was at $434 and today it is $399 with free shipping on Amazon. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next installment of A Computers and Technology.